Hey guys, here's what we're going to be making today. It is an iPhone plushie, yay! So I actually wasn't planning on making this tutorial, but after I made this iPhone, the black iPhone, I made this in my contest entry for Kawaii Fan 88. So many of you guys requested a tutorial on how to make it, so I just thought I would make another one. So yeah, I made it in white this time, and I really do apologise in advance for the length of this video. I know it's going to turn out super duper long. I've actually, you know, all these little apps on the screen, these aren't actually going to be part of this video because I've made 4 separate videos, yes, 4 videos, on how to make the apps. So you'll see anyway once you get to that point in the video. But yes, I'm sorry for the length, and the template is in the description, and I actually, you know how this iPhone is life size, like I just made it based on my phone, so it's all the right lengths and sizes and everything. But I'm thinking about making a bigger template for those of you that find it difficult to sew these tiny little parts on. So I'm going to do that, and I'll link both of the templates in the description, the big one and the little one. So yes, without further ado, I'm just going to get started by listing the materials that you will need. For this tutorial, you'll need felt and thread in various colours. You will also need the template, which you can download in the video description. Fabric scissors, a sewing needle and some stuffing. Okay, so to make the main body of the iPhone, I'm going to be using the colours light grey, dark grey and white. If you want to make a black iPhone as opposed to a white one, like my first iPhone, then just replace the white with black. So take out these templates. You need the base piece, the screen piece and the 2 side pieces. Using a coloured pencil, trace around your 2 side pieces onto dark grey felt. Trace around the screen piece onto light grey felt, and trace around the base piece twice onto white felt. Now cut out all your pieces and you should get something like this. Now we also need to cut out some smaller pieces. So use your home button template to cut out a white circle. Then use your apple template to cut out a light grey apple shape. Then these pieces don't have templates because they're so small, but you need to cut out this little rectangular piece, and this is like for the speaker at the top. These 2 black circles, and they're for the 2 cameras, and then this is a little leaf to go on top of the apple, like this. Okay, so first we're going to sew on these pieces onto the back. So thread your needle with black thread, and then use a fell stitch to attach this little circle onto the upper left hand corner of your back piece. Then thread your needle with grey thread, and as you can see, I've used the fell stitch again to attach the apple and the leaf onto the base piece. You can also use your grey thread and a back stitch to sew this little circle around the edge of your camera. Then once you've done that, you can use the grey thread again to sew on the word iPhone onto the bottom section of the base piece. And then that's the back piece finished. So now moving on to the front piece, use your grey thread and a fell stitch again to attach this little speaker piece right at the top end of your base piece. Now at the bottom of your front piece, sew on this little square, and this is going to be for the bit that's inside the home button. Now that you've done that, take the little circle we cut earlier and cut a little hole in the middle of it. Then you can place this piece on top of the little square that you just sewed, and using white thread and a fell stitch, attach this piece on top of this piece, like this. Now thread your needle with black thread and use this to sew on the little circle we cut out for the camera. Then, as you can see here, I've also used a back stitch to sew this little line, and this is for the sensor bar, so if you're doing a black iPhone you don't need to sew that part on, but I have done because I'm doing it on white felt. Okay, so now that the front and back pieces are finished, we're going to move on to the screen piece. Now, if you want to just make your iPhone like switched off, then you can just leave the screen blank and it still looks fine like that. So I would recommend you do that if maybe you're a beginner at sewing or you just don't have a lot of time. But I'm going to show you guys how to make the screen with all the apps and things on. So if you want to do that, then we first need to cut out this piece, and it's just a strip of dark grey felt, and it needs to be the same length as this screen piece. Now thread your needle with white thread, and we're just going to embroider some details onto this grey bar. So you can see here, first I have the signal strength, And for this you just need to sew a couple of vertical lines and make each one bigger than the other one. Then here in the middle you can see I've written a time, and I just chose 5:20 just because it's like, just pick a random time basically. And these things in the middle are just little French knots. And then finally at the end I have the little battery piece, and this is just basically a rectangle, but you just need to make sure you fill some of it in to show that it's got some charge in it. Now once you're happy with how that looks, place this piece on top of your screen piece, and using grey thread and a fell stitch I'm just going to sew along this bottom edge to secure that in place. Okay, so once you've done that, it's time to move on to what I think is the most exciting part, which is of course doing the actual apps to go on the iPhone screen. So you can see here that I already have some made. There's 13 here to be exact, and because this video was going to be too long, I decided to put the app pieces in separate videos. So right now there should be some annotations on your screen, and there's 4 different videos. This one is for Mail Safari photos, this one is for camera settings and YouTube, this one is for Instagram, Facebook, music, and this last one is for calendar, phone, reminders and messages. So I'm going to give you a chance now to click on one of these videos on the screen to watch the video, or if you prefer you can just carry on watching and see how I complete the rest of the iPhone. Oh, and these videos are all going to be in the description, by the way, for those of you that are watching on a phone or a tablet. Okay, so once you've made all your little app pieces, then you can lay them out on the screen however you like. And don't forget that you don't have to make these specific apps, you can also make some different ones if you prefer, or you can also do more or less. I think that this amount looks quite good. So yes, so just lay them out on the screen, and then all we're going to do is thread our needle with whatever colour thread, like all the different colours, and attach each one in place using a fell stitch. So here is what that looks like. And now the next step is just to sew this screen piece onto your front piece. So place it on there like that, and then using grey thread and a fell stitch just sew all around this edge to secure that in place. Okay, so once you've done that we're going to get on with making this side piece, and so there's a couple more pieces that we need to cut out. So for the smaller side piece you need to cut out this one long thin rectangle from light grey felt, and these 2 smaller rectangles. These are the speakers and that's the pluggy-in bit. Yes. And then from your long grey strip we need to cut out 2 circles from grey felt, 1 circle from black felt, a long rectangle from grey felt and a short rectangle from grey felt. And the position of these is really important because it's going to be where the buttons and everything go. So if you place this piece alongside this piece, then these 2 circles need to be around the same area as the first line of apps. Then this circle needs to be just past the top of the screen. And then you can see if we turn it, this hole needs to be around in line with the camera, and this one is around in line with the battery. So if you just use that as a reference, then you should get them all in the right place. Here is what that looks like with all those pieces sewn on. And then you also need to sew on these 2 lines, as you can see I've done. So one of them is a black vertical line right to the left hand side of the black circle. And then the other one is this little orange line, and it's above the little, that thing. Once you've done that, it's time to sew everything together. So take your front piece and also this bottom side piece and put them together like this. Then using grey thread and a blanket stitch, we're just going to sew along this edge to attach them together. Here is what that should look like. And now take your long thin strip and attach this to your shorter strip using the fell stitch and grey thread. Then once you've done that, you can carry on sewing the blanket stitch until you reach this other side. Once you get to this point, then you can attach this edge to this edge, again using a fell stitch and grey thread. Now all you have to do is take your back piece and place it on top like this, and then just sew all the way around this edge using a blanket stitch. Before you sew all the way around, don't forget to add some stuffing and then sew up the gap. And then once you've done that, then we are finished. So yeah, I really hope that this tutorial helps those of you that wanted to know how to make this. If you do make one, then please leave me a video response so I can see, because I really want to see all of you guys' plushies and iPhones and stuff, and that wasn't very good English anyway, guys. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, if you do have any more tutorial requests, then please leave them in the comments below, because as you saw today, I do make tutorials if enough people request it. And yes, I love you guys. Bye guys.